Joining us from, is it Denver, Colorado?
I am joining you from a snowy, cold day in Denver, Colorado. Indeed. Thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute honor.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Well, it's snowy here in Canada as well in the Calgary area, but it is beautiful and sunny today. So um, I've always wanted to go to where you are because that's actually where my mom's family's from. My mom was born in Denver. I've
No
never been,
way.
and so one day I will be in town and I will look you up.
You better. I would love to give you a tour of all that Denver and beyond has to offer. It's an absolutely lovely city that just keeps blossoming more and more. So, would love to show you around.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for hopping on today and sharing a bit of your story with us. Tell us about what you do day to day in your business right now, and then tell us a little bit about some of the challenges you've had to overcome to do this work that you do.
Absolutely. I'll start by saying it's been quite the journey. So there have been so many pivotal moments leading up to where I am now, and in envisioning my future and where I'm going, and understanding that although we might have an idea of the destination, if anything that I have learned through life experience is that nothing ever goes to plan, and it's really more about our ability to pivot when things don't go to plan. So I am a real estate broker in the beautiful city of Denver. I've been in residential real estate sales for about 9 years, and on the outs, from the surface, my business is doing very well considering a more challenging environment, with interest rates being higher over the last 18 months, limited inventory. There has definitely been a lot of adversity and a lot of challenges for quite a few brokers. And I'm really grateful because I have an incredible team that has really allowed my business to continue thriving. However, in the midst of that, I really was hit in the face out of nowhere with a challenge that I've been battling every single day for the last 7.5 years. And that is that I got diagnosed with Lyme disease. Lyme, I have no recollection of being bit by a tick ever. I don't live in a heavily tick born area, but I did travel a lot because I was a professional skier. So prior to real estate, I was a professional athlete. I was at the top of my game, traveling the world. I skied about 300 days a year. I really attribute all of my success in business to the discipline that I learned through skiing and my ability to face adversity. I fully believe came from skiing, but unfortunately, at some point, I got bit by a tick. That little tick has basically turned my everyday existence into what would put most people on bed rest permanently and leave you on disability. And it's basically taken my immune system and caused it to attack itself, and mainly my nerves. So my pain levels are through the roof. Now, if you look at my social media, for the most part, I do talk about my struggles, but it is an invisible disease. You don't really understand I hope no one ever has to understand really how challenging fighting an invisible illness is, for so many reasons. But when I look at the last 7.5 years and the challenges that it continues to bring. For example, tomorrow I'm having a rib removed because it's not allowing my port to work properly. So that's just another day in the life, but it makes everything else seem manageable. And to have a career that I love so much, a team that supports me, that I can trust in and rely on. I truly believe that every life happens for you, not to you. And if there's any way of making good out of difficult situations, and I think that a lot of us are facing, challenging times and different types of adversity. And I always say no one adversity is bigger than another. We all have our own challenges that are just as valid in our lives. And the ability to pivot and to really learn your inner strength is something that I don't know I would have learned fully had I not gotten as sick as I am today. So I sit here from a place of gratitude, a place of loving every second of what I do, but every single day is a challenge. And I think that it's something I really want to talk about, and is the challenges that we face that your brain kind of says, I don't know if we can do this. And the incredible resiliency that our bodies have, and the power of getting our mind on board to that resiliency and using it to build grit and build character and build strength. Because you don't look back at your life and look at all of the good things that happened and say that's where I learned the most and grew the most. Unfortunately, we look back at life and you say, the probably the best lessons I learned come from times of difficulty and challenge. And if we can remember that in the moment, and I have to remind myself this every day, like, okay, there's got to be a bigger purpose to all of this. It really, I believe that it's one of the most empowering gifts we can give ourselves is to really dig in when things are challenging at home, economically, whether it's with your business, with your health, with your a variety, family life, whatever it may be. These are the opportunities that we have, and to really dig in and to lean on the people that have our backs and really care about us. And I shout out to my girl gang of I have the world's best assistant and business partner, and I couldn't do a single thing that I do without them. So teamwork, baby. It's all about teamwork.
Love it. Love it. Wow. So growing up, who would you say really modeled adversity and perseverance? Like, did you see someone close to you kind of suffering and pushing through some hard stuff that you've been able to kind of lean on those memories and that inspiration in your adult life?
That is a very beautiful question. Thank you. And it's one that I have not answered before, and I absolutely love it. So growing up, I believe that the majority of the grit and resilience that I learned actually came through my own experiences through being a professional athlete. I blew 9 ACLs. I broke my neck twice. I had coaches that were, the best thing that ever happened to me. But if we said one, gave them lip once, it was hiking the mountain and doing push-ups in your snow ski boots, and it was no joke. So there was always accountability and always discipline. But when I look at my immediate sphere and world, not only did I see that in my own life, but because my life was so inundated in the sport, my dad was a professional skier in his heyday. It getting hurt, going through battles, going through challenges was part of the job. It was never a question of if, it was when. And when you blow a knee, you do A, B, C, and D, and you're healed and you can go back. And I got really good at doing that. And I think the most challenging thing that I've had to adapt to, that I have not been able to really relate much to as many people yet, is the fact that when you're battling a lot of very rare and kind of new diseases, there's no, hey, if you do A, B, and C, you're going to get better. Everything that we do is always hoping that we're going in the right direction and hoping for the best. I'm constantly, trying to connect with other people struggling with chronic illness. but I believe that chronic illness, and I hope that one day I can be that source for people in whatever capacity, but it can be very isolating. And it was very isolating for a long time because I did not understand what was going on in my body. As an athlete, you have such control and discipline over your body. So to kind of lose that ability to have control over your results and how you're going to feel from day to day is has been a test in patience, to say the least. But again, one that I hope my story one day will be able to help lay out a framework to other people struggling with chronic illness or any adversity, in understanding kind of the the process of mourning and of regaining that strength and of mourning again, and not giving up when you're not seeing results from different treatments, and not giving up when you feel like you can't relate to anyone. I think that there's so many lessons that I've haven't necessarily seen intimately, but I do believe that the toolkit that I have to get me through this was something that I learned watching my dad as an athlete, and through my own coaching programs throughout the years. And coaching is just as much an important part of my life today as it was when I was an athlete. It just looks a lot different because it's in the world of business.
Right, right. And so what kind of coaches in your business life, I guess in your adult life post skiing, have been life changing for you? What kind of, I don't know if you want to shout
Yeah.
anyone out or any mentors or anything like that?
Absolutely. So I am such a firm believer in mentorship and coaching, and really just having your cabinet of who is it in your life that is going to help you see your blind spots so that you can be the best version of yourself. And that was something that I had in skiing and that I unintentionally fell into when I began real estate. So I'll take you back a little over 9 years. I was sitting at dinner with a girlfriend, still my best friend today. Shout out Charlotte Durham, and she is the ultimate fempreneur. I tell you, I have never seen such an incredible woman, do so many things. She sells over 100 million a year in real estate by herself in Big Sky, Montana now, is a mom of two, owns multiple restaurants and businesses. She's my hero. But she was a new friend at the time. I was kind of telling her that at my interior design job, I was feeling a little bit creatively unfulfilled, and that there was a cap on how far I could go with it. And I think as an athlete, you are always striving to break through to the next level. And I didn't realize how important it was for me to have a career that the same thing was possible. And she said, Athena, you love homes, you love people, like you love design, you're in interior design. What are you doing? Like, get in. Your dad was a developer. My dad built houses growing up. What are you doing? Like, get into real estate. So I met with the owner of her company, I think like 2 days later. And John Stegner, he was my first mentor in real estate, still is a mentor of mine. He showed me every single thing I know. I spent about the first year of my career following him on every little thing that I could, because like so many careers, real estate is one that, although there's a test that you have to pass and you get your license, it doesn't actually teach you anything about how to conduct business or do the job. So the importance of having a trusted advisor, mentor in your life is so critical to success. And I got extremely lucky that I had a mentor that was willing to literally let me sit in and listen on all of his phone calls. I'd sit in the back of his car during showings just to hear how he interacted with clients. And that really set the framework for creating a cabinet of mentors, advisors at early place in my career that are still my cabinet today, of who are the business people around me, male and female, in that are, not necessarily only real estate related, but who are business people and humans in general that I admire. Because I don't want to follow a mentor that might be really good at business, but is a horrible human being for the rest of their life. Like it really matters finding that balance in your trusted advisors. But the first few years of my career, I did a really good job at really just asking as many questions as I could from people that I looked up to. From there, I started out, there's a coaching program called Core. It's for realtors and lenders. And I spent a good 5 years with the Core. When I say discipline and accountability, I do not know many coaching programs that offer that much discipline and accountability. It was extremely regimented, extremely we had to be extremely disciplined, and if we did not, there were consequences. Now the consequences for like not turning my homework in on time were, okay, you're going to donate more to your favorite charity this month. So it was all, wonderful things, but it created an environment of accountability apart from my everyday real estate career that connected me with different agents all over the country that I was able to build strong relationships with, over the last several years. Now, I did just step away from Core, mainly just to deal with I have a few big surgeries coming up. But really, my favorite coach of all time, Phil Puma, he's in North Carolina. He is one of the greatest real estate brokers I've ever met, but even more so, he is one of the most exemplary humans. So finding that coach for you that exhibits I like the 7 pillars of your life, and where you want to go in your life. Like, what does your family life look like? Your personal, spiritual, love life, money, work, etc. And does your coach or your mentor embody those elements? Because if not, that's probably something you should think twice about prior to, listening to every single word they say, or just taking it with a grain of salt. But I do plan on being a student of his in the future. I think he's got something in the works that I don't have the details on yet, but I will never go a period in life, I hope, that I don't have an amazing coach and amazing mentors, because I lean on them all the time. So thank you guys.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's really good to
Yeah.
hear. So in what ways are you, and maybe you can't right now because of your health stuff, but in what ways are you, coaching others? And obviously you're hopping on podcasts and you're sharing your message in the world in lots of different ways. Is there anything else that you're doing
Yeah.
that we're not aware of that we can spread the word about?
Thank you. I am definitely someone that has a lot of big plans and big dreams. And I plan on doing, accomplishing a lot of them. I would love, when I get my health to a little bit of a better place, to write a book that can really help people in how they face adversity, how they connect with community and overcome whatever challenge in a framework of reframing. So that is a big one for me. I just finished a class with the Wharton School of Business to do a TEDx talk. So obviously the goal is a TED talk, but it's got to start somewhere. TEDx. So I'd like to do a TEDx talk in 2024. Starting a podcast has been something that I've been very interested in as well, just from a place of really, really being able to connect with as many people as possible. I love people. And for me, it's understanding the best way to connect with people on a broader scale. In my day to day business, I knew from the time that I was being mentored by my first mentor, John, that that was something that I wanted to be able to do for agents for the entirety of my career. And I believe so firmly in you give what you get, and there you you know, you end up learning so much more about your craft, your skill, yourself, when you are able to reflect upon someone else's struggles and help relate, guide, and coach them through it. So I've had the, you know, good fortune of training, you know, being a mentor to of several women over the last 9 years. And that's something that, again, as I get healthier and I'm not spending right now, I do 4 days in a row of plasma transfusions every 3 weeks. That doesn't include any of the doctor's appointments. That doesn't, you know, I'd say about 50% of my time goes to trying not to die right now. So when I get a little bit of that time back, I'm so excited because I'm like, even just 10%, like that's going to be such a huge win. And I have, you know, I look back over the last couple of years and I have come a long way, and I have to remind myself of that. But I do have grand dreams of connecting to a much larger audience and potentially coaching in the future. But at the very least, you know, being able to be a mentor as I grow my team. I've never been a broker that has the aspirations of creating a mega team with, you know, dozens of agents. I am a very relational human. I want to make sure that anyone of my clients or anyone on my team that I am working with, I have the ability to give everything that I can to them and give them the best experience and build a lifelong relationship. I don't want to grow to a point where, you know, no my clients can't get a hold of me and they're only talking to my assistant. And the most important pillar of my business is keeping it relational. And I'm so grateful to have gotten my business to a point over the last 9 years where 95% of it comes from past clients or referrals from past clients and Sphere, so that I am able to share my challenges with health. I'm able to be completely transparent in what I'm going through, letting them know that there's, you know, they're not gonna I'm not gonna miss a beat. I can promise you that much. But that's why I have an incredible team around me, so that on days like tomorrow when I need to have surgery and I don't have my phone for 4 hours, you might talk to my assistant. So really being able to set expectations within that relationship. But the same goes for anyone that I will ever bring on my team. Right now, I have people that are, you know, continually asking to join, and I tell them I'm not physically in a place where I could give you what you deserve. And when I can, I would love the opportunity to, you know, be a part of your cabinet and be a mentor to you. But right now it wouldn't be doing you a service to do so. So let's keep in touch. And that's really hard for me to say because I like to be able to do it all. I've always been a yes person. And I think being, you know, fighting illness has been one of the greatest lessons in learning how to say no. And I think as a society, we glamorize so much the hustle culture and the busy, and that you always have to be doing things and you say yes to everything. And in reality, no one wants to live that way. We, you know, we have all of these incredible resources at our disposal, that we can, you know, we can, you know, with AI, even like we have so many opportunities to utilize different services that'll give us a little bit of our time back. And instead of then just giving that away again, it's really learning and understanding how to set boundaries and get very clear on what your yeses are and what your nos are, and how both of those are leading you to the place that you want to be. And that's something that I'm just now learning at 33 years old, is how to say no. And that's been one of the biggest challenges I've had. But hey, you never stop learning.
Right. Well, I'm going to ask you about 10 years ago, about the 10-year ago Athena. And maybe this, what you just said is going to be your answer. But what would you tell her? What advice would you give your 10-year younger self?
That is a beautiful question. 10 years ago, so I would have just been graduating college, bright eyed and bushy tailed, and starting my interior design career. I had no idea what my path was. Honestly, skiing was so all encompassing that even though I knew there was a shelf life on that career, skiers get hurt a lot, and there's only so many times you can, I was, I believe, 21 when my doctor said, Athena, if you blow another knee, I was at X Games in Aspen. He said, if you blow another knee, like I had just blown a knee, you're going to need a knee replacement by the time you're 25. And that was kind of when I had to take a step back and really think about what I was doing to my body and what was next. And I didn't know. So I went to college, did had a great degree, but didn't really have much direction. And I would tell my younger self to have not been so afraid to not know what I wanted to do. I think we have culturally, societally, at least for myself, this this thought that we're supposed to know what we want to do with our lives at a young age, and that there's a path where you get married and you have kids and you have your job and you come home, and the biggest thing that I would tell myself would be that you don't have to have it all figured out, because even if you think you have it all figured out, it's not going to go how you think it is. Life never does. And the more opportunities that you can say yes to, that you're excited about, or no to things that aren't filling you or aren't serving you, the more clarity you can gain just with your day-to-day decisions, the more it's going to be creating the framework for your future success. And instead of me thinking, well, I've got to figure out a job, like I don't know, what I'm going to do with my life. Is this job going to be what I have forever? It would have been more, Athena, this is every single experience that you're having right now, good and bad, is teaching you something about yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your passions, what fills your cup, what empties your cup. And I would have taken a lot more stock of those items so that I had at least more of a clear vision on what I want and didn't want in life. I did not have that whatsoever. I was flying by the seat of my pants, quite literally and figuratively. I was flying through the air, but I didn't have it figured out. And I think that's okay. It's okay not to have it figured out. But understanding that the little moments in our day-to-day lives tell us so much more about ourselves than we could ever even imagine. And I still have to remind myself of that daily. I'm constantly, when we talk about what does the future look like, I have to break it down to such a micro level of, on throughout my day, what are the things that I excel at? Where am I really able to serve people? How can I take care of myself within that? What is really not serving me that maybe can be outsourced? I was never good at delegating at all. I'm an only child and I was a professional skier. So it's like one man sport. one child. I just said yes to it all. I wanted to do it all. And I think that learning how to delegate the things that are not your strengths is the greatest gift we can give ourselves, because the things that we're not good at, someone else excels at, and that is the person that you should be working with towards your, your goals, towards it's really understanding, how you can be the best you. And that doesn't have to mean like forcing yourself to learn a skill set that just doesn't suit you. So that was a long-winded answer. I tend to do that. I apologize, but
No, it's
yeah,
great.
I really, I believe that it would have been to have just a greater awareness of my time, where it was going, and where I felt I was excelling, and what was maybe draining me.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good answer. I mean, I think
Good.
that's a wisdom, like a wisdom thing that I guess that if you're 33 now, then you were 23 then.
Yeah.
Um, I wish more 20-year-olds were being taught that they should trust their inner wisdom and not rush to this, place of knowing what I want and knowing what it's supposed to look like. Because in that rushing, I think for me too, when I was in my 20s, in that kind of rushing to try to figure out what that thing is, you miss a lot of learning. You miss a lot of lessons that you within your own wisdom are trying to teach yourself.
Mhm.
Um,
That is
so I
so
really like
beautiful.
that.
That was so beautifully put. And it's so true. And when you've got that kind of a one-track mind of I've got to figure it all out, first of all, like what 20 something, no matter what, has it figured out? I mean, I think we never stop figuring it out, but understanding that it's okay to fail, and it's okay to try and then try again and try something
Mhm,
different and fall on your face and get fired maybe, or quit a job, or whatever that journey is, whatever that path is. Like, those are the formative moments in your life that are bringing you to the destination. The destination will always continue evolving and changing and doing backflips and whatever it may be, but like those are, it's so much more productive, and it's such a greater gift of wisdom to yourself to be able to not be afraid of failure, and not be afraid of saying I don't quite know what I want to do yet, but I'm going to try a lot of things until I
mhm,
figure it out, because
mhm,
every single thing that we try is teaching us something about what we want in life and what we don't want in life. And I don't think there's
mhm,
any more valuable insight into our futures than what we can learn from our past. And if we're able to
mhm,
have an awareness within our present moments, obviously it's very difficult as we get wrapped into the busy day-to-day lives that we all have, but like really being intentional with what what it is that's filling us up, and what's not, so that we're constantly evolving and changing and growing. And I think that's really where a coach has been helpful to me too, is helping me to really understand what my skills are, what I can delegate, how I can best delegate productively, and how I can learn from when I do fail, because we will all fail. Like it's inevitable. We're never going to get everything perfect, but every
mhm.
failure is probably a bigger gift than a success, honestly, because it's fueling us with the skill set we need to be better in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. You've shared so much wisdom and so many great stories. It's really inspiring to see that you're going out into the world and you're sharing this story about the health challenges that you're facing as you continue to grow your business and make time for all the health things that you probably didn't anticipate having to make time for in your career. Wishing you so much Just good vibes tomorrow
Thank
going into
you.
your surgery and a quick
I
recovery.
appreciate
And
it.
just really honored that you took the time to be here with us. Is there anything else you'd like to leave our Fempreneur audience with before we hop off?
Honor is all mine. Thank you so much for the absolutely lovely time together. I love your podcast. I got really addicted to it the second that we started discussing booking this. So thank you for creating a platform for women to really help empower each other and connect. I would say, I anyone out there that is going through any form of adversity, any health challenge, any real estate challenge, any business, like I love connecting with people. So if there's ever anything I can do to support you, I would love that opportunity. If you want to get in touch with me, you can just go to my website, which it has my phone number and email and Instagram and all that good stuff. And it's just Athena Brownson Realtor.com. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And Lindsay, you're an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me and letting me share a little bit of my story. I could talk to you for days.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much,
Thank
Athena. All
you.
right, we're going to hop off now, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.